Check this out. With the $165 billion we gave to Ukraine, we could have built 6 border walls to stop illegal immigrants from pouring across our southern border. Could have fixed Flint's water system 215 times over.
Easily.
I like this one. Could have given every homeless vet $2 million.
Holy shit.
Could have given $50 million to every family impacted by the Maui wildfires.
And they got $700. They got $700 each.
We got to get our priorities straight, buddy.
According to HUD, they think it would take $20 billion to end homelessness in America. $20 billion. And what'd you say? We've sent 100 and how much? We could have ended...
$165 billion.
So we could have ended homelessness 8 times over in America. Yeah, bro. It's outrageous.
Our priorities
It's outrageous.
These conspiracy theories have turned out to be true.
Which ones?
The Trump-Russia witch hunt, Jeffrey Epstein, JFK assassination, the misuse of the Patriot Act, the Iraq War, the weapons of mass destruction, the war in Ukraine, the bombing of the Nord Stream pipeline, the open border migration caravans, the climate change scam, chemtrails, and HARP, and 9/11 being an inside job, and the Internet of Things surveillance grid, and PFAs, and chemicals in the water turning everyone gay, and the 2020 election being stolen, and January 6th being filled with undercover feds, and Bilderberg and Bohemian Grove, and global government, not to mention gain-of-function research and the threat of China, and collapsing birth rates, and defund the police, and George Soros, and mail-in ballots, and big tech censorship, and disinformation agencies, and Obama's birth certificate, and probably some others I can't think of. I mean, so a few of them. I guess a couple of them have been true.
Well, there have been rumors about this for a while. Chuck Todd and others kept saying, it's just a conspiracy theory. Well, guys, we're going to have to get some new conspiracy theories because all the old ones turned out to be true. I mean, conspiracy theories are up like 37 to nothing. I mean, when I first heard about it, I thought it was satire. But basically, Mr. Jack Smith, I thought he was smarter than this. I've got rocks in my driveway that are smarter than what he did. I mean, he basically, I guess he thought he wouldn't get caught because he's not stupid. He went and basically got the phone records for 8 sitting United States senators. And we haven't figured out how he did it, some kind of subpoena. I can tell you this, the telephone company, if he did serve them with a subpoena, the telephone companies that did not challenge that subpoena, that didn't try to quash it, that just handed it over, just vomited forth the information, they have a lot of civil liability. But we're going to have to get, and we asked Pam, the Attorney General about it, and I think she just found out about it, and there's going to be an investigation. But I don't want to see it. I don't want it to be one of these investigations that, well, we're working on it, and we'll be back to you in 2 years and 7 months.
On the JFK assassination, why he didn't release the files?
Yeah, I know what Trump's take is.
He said that if you knew what I know, you wouldn't tell people either, which is crazy.
Well,
what
and
does that mean?
That's his position on the UAP thing as well.
Yeah.
Actually. And that's a lot of people's position on it. I mean, you know, Trump is saying, of course, the CIA had knowledge of it. That is known. I mean, the whole thing, it's like, it's so funny. There's so many levels and there's so much I don't understand. But the whole JFK conspiracy industry, and it really is an industry, more books written on that than almost any historical topic, is filled with wackos, right? There are a lot of wackos in there. But that fact obscures the larger fact, which is the facts themselves tell an unbelievable story.
Yeah.
And so, whatever, I could get into it at great length. But they're still classifying documents 61 years later. Both Trump and Joe Biden have, in violation of my read of federal law, kept those documents secret. There's no living person connected to the Kennedy assassination. It was a couple generations ago. There's no one person whose secrets are being protected. It's an institution, or maybe countries. There may have been countries involved too. I mean, I don't know the answer, but there's clearly something worth protecting. And I know that when I spoke to someone who'd seen the documents, 2 years ago, and I got one fact out of him, which is, yes, the CIA was involved. And by CIA is a huge organization, but James Jesus Angleton, the head of the operations directorate, had knowledge of this, which I think is well known. But that's the view of someone who saw the documents. So I thought that was news. So I went on TV and said that. The next day, I'll never forget it, I went quail hunting. And I was driving back, and I got a phone call from Mike Pompeo's lawyer. Mike Pompeo was the Secretary of State, but before then, he was the director of the CIA. And in that position, he plotted the murder of Julian Assange. So he is a criminal as far as I'm concerned. But his lawyer called me and said, you should know that anyone who tells you the contents of classified documents has committed a crime. He's threatening me. He's in my car. With my dog sitting next to me, I'll never forget this. And I said, are you really saying that to reveal that the U.S. government had a role in the murder of a democratically elected president, to say that out loud, that's the crime? What about the actual crime, which is murdering a president? Like, you're covering up for that, Mike Pompeo.
What did he say to that?
He had no response at all. And so Mike Pompeo is the one who pressed Trump to keep those documents secret. And so it's like, what's crazy to me is not just that Pompeo did that. I think Pompeo is a really sinister person and a criminal. I think that because the facts suggest that. He was caught. Yahoo News, Mike Isikoff wrote a long piece on this several years ago. His employees went to Mike Isikoff and said, hey, Mike Pompeo is plotting to murder Julian Assange, who's never even been charged with a crime in the United States, as CIA director. That's illegal. You're not allowed. Federal employees are not allowed to just kill people they don't like. Okay, just to set the baseline here. So that's who Mike Pompeo is. But he somehow intimidated Trump into not releasing this. Well, okay, that's all bad, right? I think it's criminal behavior. What's crazy is how Mike Pompeo is treated. He's treated as like a Republican poobah in good standing. He fully expects to become the Secretary of Defense in a Trump administration, which is like completely insane. Why would you take a criminal and give him nuclear weapons? Okay, that's my view. I think it's a common sense view. And like, he goes to fundraisers and dinners and everyone's like, hey, Mike Pompeo. It's like, no, you're the guy who kept information the public has a right to know secret. You're the guy who plotted the murder of someone who committed no crime. You are the outlaw. You are the bad guy. But no, he's treated as like, like a pillar of Republican Washington. I think it's mind-bending to watch that.
This clip and come right back.
You think ICE is not going to show up around voting and polling booths to chill participation? You know that. The National Guard, you know that. Everybody knows what's at stake, so we have to put a stake in the ground and do things differently.
So think about what he said for a second. As many of you know, I was an immigrant in America for 18 years before I became a citizen. And throughout that entire 18-year period, there was never a single time that I showed up at a polling station on election day because I did not have the right to vote in America. So what is Gavin Newsom saying here? There are immigrants who are voting. Now, this is not just about immigrants, because what he is suggesting is that the presence of ICE will stop people from going to the polls. So he's not even talking about legal immigrants, because legal immigrants will have nothing to fear if ICE is around. So basically what he is saying is that illegal immigrants will be deterred from going to the polls. So are illegal immigrants making it a habit to go to the polls on election day in America? I thought Democrats said our elections are the most secure ever, and that not requiring ID was necessary because people that look like me apparently can't get IDs. Is this the reason why they don't want voter IDs? If this is not a confession of how corrupt the voting system in Democrat-controlled states have become, I don't know what will convince you. Our elections must be protected from the corruption of charlatans who continue to clamor about protecting democracy, but will take every opportunity to undermine the process while pretending to be the saviors of the system. As a new American citizen who just a few years ago earned my right to vote, I believe that my vote needs to be protected from being wiped out by illegal immigrants. If this was not a plan, I am calling on ICE to actually show up at polling stations, because citizens are not intimidated by seeing law enforcement. And we cannot continue to allow our election system to be abused